In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to beat Pikachu EX with Mewtwo EX in Pokemon TCG Pocket by making one change to your Mewtwo EX deck. So the idea for this is to just add a baby Mewtwo to your deck, and you'll see that coming up here in a second. So you can see I started with Ralts, and then I got a Mewtwo EX. Now this would be typical in a regular Mewtwo EX deck where you're not running any of the small Mewtwo's. So there it is right there. So I'm going to pop it into the bench. And I'm going to get the Ralts out of the active spot, and I'm going to put the Mewtwo into the active spot. Now the reason for this is because this Mewtwo can soak up damage that Pikachu EX would normally do to your Mewtwo EX, so that you're using Mewtwo here to soak up damage while you power up your Mewtwo EX. Now we're just going to wait for my opponent to get set up here, and we'll kind of carry on. But that's the basic idea. You're using stall tactics as well as a damage soak to prevent your Mewtwo EX from taking damage. So you can see my opponent has just attached a energy to their Pikachu EX. They'll be able to start doing some damage on turn 2. Now fortunately for me, they don't have any other Pokemon on the bench, so it wouldn't have really made a huge difference if I had the Mewtwo EX, but if they did have a couple more Pokemon, it would have been pretty much a loss for me already. And you'll see why also in a little bit. So I'm gonna stall by using Sabrina to get rid of their Pikachu EX and bring in their Helioptile, and that will hopefully cause them to have to use an energy to get the Helioptile out and bring the Pikachu back in, unless they have an X speed. But at the same time, they're also using the X speed to, we're making them waste the X speed. Okay, so there's the X speed. So the Helioptile is out. So they've wasted an X speed here, and that also bought me, a little bit of extra time. So now they're gonna hit the Mewtwo with their attack. Now this attack would have normally gone onto my Mewtwo EX, or they would have knocked out my Ralts. But I do have another Ralts, so that's also fine. But the Mewtwo is soaking up damage here. So now I've got 2 energy on the Mewtwo EX. Now I'm going to potion the Mewtwo, and that will bring them back up to the point where this Pikachu EX now has to, do a couple of hits. Even with a full bench, they would still, without the Giovanni, they would still need to do 2 hits to knock out the Mewtwo. So now they've got their second Pikachu EX, and this is where it gets troublesome when you're running Mewtwo EX without this regular Mewtwo. And you'll see, what they're going to try and do here. So they've got the energy on the Pikachu EX on the bench, and then now they're attacking my Mewtwo. And the Mewtwo is still alive, so it's still doing its job. And that's exactly what we want here. My Mewtwo EX on the bench is now almost fully charged up. And we still don't have our Kirlia or Gardevoir up yet, but it's okay because this is basically buying us time, right? Like it's been a few turns now, and I'm still with a fully powered up I'm still with a Mewtwo EX on the bench that has all of its health basically. So now they're going to knock out the Mewtwo finally, and this is where I start needing to get my deck going. If I don't get it going soon, then it's not going to make a difference, but the extra turns really do help. Okay, so now they're using X speed here because they kind of know what I'm trying to do here. So they're bringing in the Heliolisk to kind of stall as well, and because they don't want their Pikachu EX to take damage. So now I've got the Kirlia, and assuming that they don't red card me, I should be good. So now that I've got the Mewtwo EX on the bench pretty much ready to go, I'm now starting to put energy on the Mewtwo, so that I can hopefully do some damage to this Heliolisk and, knock it out so that they're forced to bring in one of their other Pokemon. So this is basically just turned into a stall game now. And I do have another Mewtwo EX in my hand, which I can't put on the bench because I've got the other ones, the other Pokemon on there, but that's fine. The next turn, assuming they don't red card me, then I will have my Gardevoir up, and I can get this Mewtwo in the active spot up faster. So here we go. So we got the Gardevoir now, and then I'm going to Psy Shadow and Energize. So if they did knock out the Mewtwo, then I would be able to one-hit the Pikachu EX if they did opt to knock it out with the Pikachu EX, but they didn't. So, and I still have the Ralts on the bench that I can also use to buy an extra turn. So they're going to, let's see. Okay, so now they're just dumping energy on the Pikachu EX for whatever reason. I guess they don't really know what to do at this point, but because the Heliolisk is dead, so it doesn't really matter. So this Mewtwo not only acted as a damage soak, but it also helped me with taking out one of their attackers and getting one point here. So the Heliolisk is down, and I'm not sure why I should have attached the energy to the Mewtwo EX and used the Side Shadow on the Mewtwo, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, so now they've got their Zebstrika in, and they're still trying to stall here. So now I believe that they will knock out the Mewtwo. Okay, so they got an Eevee on the bench. Okay, there's the Thunder Sphere, and the Mewtwo has finally fallen. And what turn is it now? Let's see. How many turns did that Mewtwo stay alive for? Turn 15. Okay, so now I've got the Ralts and I get a Sabrina, so that's good. And now what I'm doing is I'm putting energy on the Gardevoir because I want to now use this Gardevoir to attack as well. I could have also started putting energy on the other Mewtwo EX, but at this point it doesn't really matter. Okay, so I've used Sabrina now to get rid of the Zebstrika, and they are going to bring in the Eevee. And now I'm going to Side Shadow onto the Ralts. And I'm going to just attack. I'm sure there are a few ways I could have made this match go faster here at this point, but I didn't want to take any chances and miscalculate something. So, okay, they've got the Jolteon now. But still one energy on it. And now they bring their Zebstrika back in. And I think my opponent is making some questionable decisions as well. I guess they felt like maybe at the beginning they thought it would be an easy win, but didn't pan out that way. So now the Gardevoir is basically ready to go. So I X-speed out and bring in the Gardevoir. Now I can essentially two-shot this Zebstrika. So just for extra measure, I'm going to use my Giovanni. And there we go. Hit the Zebstrika. Now, even if they bring in the Pikachu to knock out my Gardevoir, it's not going to matter because as soon as that Pikachu comes in, it's going to die. So now they're just, I guess, I don't know, they're just potioning for the sake of using the potion. And the match is essentially done at this point. Don't really think there's much that they can do. So now they're just attacking the Mewtwo EX on the bench. If they had a Sabrina, well, even if they had a Sabrina, I would bring the Ralts in. So I don't think it would have mattered too much. So yeah. And there's the concede. So I didn't even have to use the Mewtwo EX, really. It was just the fact that it was there and ready to go was enough. So that's basically how you do it. So add a Mewtwo to your deck, and you'll have an easier time dealing with the Pikachu EX decks. I'll add the deck list here in the description so that you guys can check it out. Hopefully this video was useful to you. If it was, please like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. Goodbye, everybody.